People inside the Mapleview diner barely noticed the man until he moved. A single dad, broad-shouldered, tired eyes, flannel shirt, and grease under his nails, stood up so fast his chair toppled over. His name was Jeremiah Hale, and in the soft morning light, he looked like the kind of man who'd been carrying the world alone for too long. But he wasn't thinking about himself. He wasn't even thinking about the pile of unpaid bills tucked into his jacket or the long shift waiting for him at the construction yard. He was thinking about her. A woman across the diner, stylish coat, expensive boots, hair like polished midnight, was silently choking. Not coughing, not wheezing, not breathing, and no one else saw her. The way she lifted trembling fingers to her throat, the way her wide eyes reflected pure terror, it was burned into Jeremiah's mind forever. She looked completely helpless, alone, scared, dying. That image, her bent forward, hand outstretched, lips parted but unable to speak, would become the symbol of everything that came after. And that is how it begins. A man with nothing to give. A woman with everything to lose. A diner full of people too distracted to notice. And a single act of kindness that neither of them could ever forget. The choking stranger. Her name, though Jeremiah didn't know it yet, was Celestine Vale. To the world, she was a billionaire tech heiress. To him, she was simply a stranger with panic flooding her eyes. Jeremiah didn't yell. He didn't hesitate. He just moved. He rushed to her side, wrapped his arms around her, and performed the Heimlich with the precision of someone who had once watched training videos obsessively because he feared something happening to his daughter. Lenny. 1 push. 2. 3. A solid piece of toast flew out, skidding across the table. Celestine collapsed against him, shaking uncontrollably. People gasped only after the danger had passed. Jeremiah held her gently, steadying her as she tried to breathe again. "Easy," he whispered. "You're safe." She blinked rapidly, tears spilling down her cheeks. Not from emotion. She wasn't that kind of woman, or so she believed, but from the shock of surviving. "Thank you. I thought I was going to die," she stammered, gripping his sleeve like her life depended on it. Jeremiah smiled softly. "Not on my watch." A billionaire who looked nothing like one. When Celestine finally regained control of her breathing, she tried to stand, but her knees buckled. Jeremiah caught her again, more gently this time. "Sit. Just breathe," he said. She obeyed, bewildered by the firmness in his voice. No one ordered Celestine Vale around. No one dared. And yet, she didn't mind it coming from him. Jeremiah knelt beside her, checking her pulse like someone who'd done it many times. She stared at him, this stranger who still held her hand as if afraid she'd vanish. Calloused palms, eyes a deep storm blue, a face shaped by hardship, responsibility, and long nights raising a child alone. "Why were you even watching me?" she whispered. He chuckled awkwardly. Well, I kind of was. You looked like you hadn't eaten in days and you were chewing too fast. Guess I worry about people." "Habit." "Habit?" she asked softly. "My daughter," he said simply. "She's 9. I watch everything she does." Something in her chest shifted painfully, unexpectedly. She had no one who cared enough to watch her breathe, let alone notice if she choked. Lenny enters the scene. A small voice interrupted. "Daddy." Lenny stood by the booth, thin, bright-eyed, with a purple backpack twice her size. She scanned the scene, saw the fallen chair, and gasped. "Daddy, did you save her?" "Again. Again," Celestine whispered. Jeremiah shrugged, embarrassed. "Lenny exaggerates." "He saved Mr. Tom, who swallowed a coin," the little girl declared proudly. Celestine laughed through the remnants of fear. It was the first genuine laugh she'd had in months, maybe years. "Daddy is a hero," Lenny continued, waving her arms dramatically. "But only on accident. He says he's regular." Celestine stared at Jeremiah. To her, there was nothing regular about him. A ride neither planned for. When Celestine tried to stand again, her legs shook. Lenny latched onto her hand, offering support far beyond her small size. "You need help," Jeremiah said gently. I'm fine, Celestine lied. She was dizzy, nauseated, embarrassed to be weak in front of strangers. Let me drive you to urgent care. Choking can bruise internal. No, she cut him off quickly. Too quickly. I don't go to hospitals unless absolutely necessary. He noticed the fear behind her eyes. Something deeper than panic. Trauma, maybe. Secrets, definitely. Okay, he said, raising his hands. But I'm not letting you walk alone like this. You almost died. She swallowed hard. No one had spoken to her like that in years. No one had cared like that in, maybe ever. Fine, she whispered. A ride would be helpful. A car ride full of unspoken truths. Jeremiah's truck was old, dented, and held together by hope and duct tape. Celestine climbed in, awkwardly holding her designer coat away from a spilled juice stain. Sorry about the mess, he muttered, tossing a teddy bear into the back seat. It's comforting, she replied honestly. His eyebrows rose. Comforting. My world is too clean, too cold. She looked around. This feels lived in. There was a sad sincerity in her voice he didn't know how to respond to. Seatbelt, he reminded gently. She clicked it on. Their eyes met for a second too long. The truth behind Celestine veil. Celestine hid the truth from the world. She wasn't just rich. She was lonely. Her father's death had left her with boardrooms filled with men who saw her as a target. Investors who saw dollar signs instead of a human being. And a mother who only cared about maintaining public image. People bowed to her, but no one held her when she cried. No one cared if she ate breakfast too fast and died alone in a diner. Until Jeremiah, a man with paint on his clothes, a daughter who adored him, and nothing to offer her except authenticity. It was everything she secretly wanted. The offer she didn't expect. Jeremiah parked outside her luxury high-rise. The contrast between his old truck and the gleaming building was almost painful. I can walk you in, he offered. No, she whispered. This is fine. But she didn't get out. She sat there, staring straight ahead. Jeremiah, she said slowly, can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you help me? He turned fully toward her. Because you needed help. That's it. That's enough, isn't it? She blinked hard, fighting tears. No one in her world did things without motive. Everything had strings, contracts, negotiations. You didn't know who I was, she said shakily. And you didn't know who I was, he replied. Makes us even. A broken laugh escaped her. If only it were that simple. It can be, he said. For me it is. And that was the moment Celestine veil fell for a man she had just met. Not romantically, not yet. But her heart recognized something she'd been missing. Safety. Kindness. Someone whose help wasn't for sale. The moment that hooked the universe. Before leaving, Celestine did something no billionaire heiress had ever done in her life. She reached into her bag, took out a small silver ring her father had given her before he passed. A ring she hadn't taken off since he died, and pressed it into Jeremiah's hand. Please keep this. He stared at it, horrified. I can't accept.